Hey y'all. Well folks, this is the first video of my Super Shanty build. You know, this is something I've been thinking about for a long time. Because I'm just tired of boating the local lakes, and I've been wanting to get on the Tennessee River and cruise around on the intercoastal and just do the great American loop. I probably can't do it all at once, but I'm going to do it in bits and pieces. But I've been thinking about what kind of boat I'm going to need to do it with. First I was going to build me a pontoon boat. And then I had this old SeaRay cuddy cabin here. I said, well, you know, I can do a little work on that old SeaRay and I can make it into a mini yacht. It'll look something kind of like a Sea Dory or something like that, but with an inboard outboard. And it's going to take me several months to do this, and I hope you'll follow me along on my series, on the Super Shanty series. I'm really looking forward on it. I'm going to take a couple of short trips first. I'm going to take one trip down from Chattanooga down to Guntersville. That's 180 miles. That'll be my first trip. And I'm going to do a round trip on that one there and back, like 3 days. Then my next trip's going to be from Nashville to Knoxville, and that's 900 miles. And after that one, we're going to take a trip down to Miami and go out to the Bahamas. That's only 50 miles. But let me tell you about my boat. My boat's a 20-foot cuddy cabin. It's already got a cuddy cabin in it. And we're gutting the entire boat. We're gutting it all the way down to the hull, replacing any kind of rotten we might have, and get all that old foam out that's in there, you know. And we're going to redesign it. It's going to be designed basically for one person to kind of live in. It's going to, maybe two. I'll have a bed for 2 people, but it's going to have, the front's not going to be changed much. And then I'm going to get me a really nice driver's seat, and right behind the driver's seat it'll have a sink. But let me just show you what I'm talking about. Let me just explain this. Let me show you. Okay, folks. There is the SeaRay. My Super Shanty boat that I'm going to be fixing up. I may not be able to get in here. The sun's right in my blooming eyes here. Let me walk around here. There's the backyard. There she be. The Super Shanty. 20-foot SeaRay cuddy cabin. 89 model. It's got a totally rebuilt 4.3 liter V6 Mercruiser in it with a Weber 4-barrel carburetor. Been bored out, new crank, pistons, everything. That motor's brand new. It's got 150 hours on it. But I'm taking it back out anyway, and I'm going to rebuild the drive and put new gimbal bearing in it, and just putting the universal joints in it, so it's already got that. I need to do a little bit more work. And I'm ripping the windshield off and all that crap up there, and I'm building I'm going to build a steel frame in there for my cabin, and it's going to end up having a 6 by 8 foot cabin on it, enclosed cabin. You can buy what they call tent air conditioners. I'm going to get me a little tent air conditioner for it. I'm going to get me an ice cold cooler, and rip all this stuff out. It's going to be good. I mean, everything's coming out. Everything's coming out. It's going to be totally different. You've got 6 by 8 foot cabin that I can stand up in. Then it's got another cabin in the front up there. I'm going to rebuild a gauge panel there because that's about trash. Replace all these seats. About the only thing in here that is any good is the motor. But that's what we got to work with, and that's what we're going to do. First thing I'm going to do is start taking all this windshield shit off and get the floor took back out. We just gut it. I'm going to gut it. I've done it once before. It was 7 years ago. It probably needs it again. So this time we're changing a few things on it. Mercruiser has got to be, in my opinion, the best drive on the market by far. And the Alpha 1, in my opinion, again, is the best of the Mercruisers because they're simple, they're mechanical. It's no solenoids, no electronic this, no electronic that. It's all works by cable. There's the old motor in there. About a 225, I guess. All my extras I got on it. Bored out. A few other little extras. Got a Garmin in there right now, but I'll be using Navionics when I'm on the river. And it's going to have a CB radio in here, and I've already got a marine radio, but I'm going to redo all that, move it. Anyway, stay tuned for what we're going to do to the SeaRay. The SeaRay is going to take a transformation completely. It's not even going to look like the same boat. Right now, this boat will do 44 miles an hour. That's with me in it by myself. And I've took a lot of weight out of it from when it was originally new. So it's a lot lighter now than it was new. But now I'm taking even more weight out. All that old water soaked foam that's in there and stuff will be coming out. And even though I'll be adding a lot, I debated highly on whether to go with aluminum frame or thin wall steel tubing. Since I'm not an aluminum welder, I elected to go with steel. And I'm going to weld it right here in the shop. I'm going to weld it, and the frame's going to be bolted to the stringers, recessed into the stringers, and everything will be mounted nice and secure. Plywood on the outside, plywood on the inside, foam in the middle. It's going to have RV windows in the side, and it's going to have lake sand windows all in the front. They have the same angle, not the same angle, but the same shape in the front. Basically, the window's only going to have like a 2-degree slope. But that's about it, folks. That's where we stand at on the Super Shanty build. Have to ignore the traffic. If you want any Sea-Doos, I got some Sea-Doos for sale. I got a bunch of Sea-Doos. Anyway, there she be, the Super Shanty. And I can't wait to do the Dismal Swamp, do cruise around New York City, and do all that kind of stuff in my boat. Probably do it solo, because my wife's not much of a boater. She don't care nothing about the water. If anybody, my son might join me on some of it. I got some friends that might join me on a day or two of it, but mostly I'll be doing this on a solo basis. Actually, that's the way I prefer it. Anyway, folks, thanks for watching, if you watched it this far, and don't forget, consider subscribing, as that helps me greatly. And alrighty, check me on the next video when I have this thing half ripped apart. Hey Mimo, what you doing, girl? You hungry? Huh? There's Mimo. Psst, come here, girl. She's a sweet girl. Yes, she is. That Mimo. Okay, here's what we got to work with on the inside of the boat. Over here you got the workhorse, as Brian Britt calls it on backwaters and back roads. That's my workhorse. There's my freshwater tank. Prop I'll be using. Over here's my 2 batteries and my hydraulic unit and my fan. And all of this will be out right here. Is where right here behind the driver's seat is where the sink will be. The sink will be right here, and the stove right behind it. And on this side will be like a little couch that converts into a table. And then you've got what's in here already up front, but I'll be changing that a little bit too. And you got a hatch up there if you want to get out on the bow, because all this is coming off. I'm not going to have a door going through the window in the new boat. It's going to be straight up and down. Got the Garmin, and there's the gauges. I'm taking all that apart and fixing all that. Ripping all that stuff off, because the wall's going to be over here, come straight up. It'll be, like I said, 6x8 enclosed cabin. And then we'll have a deck out here, but the deck will be dropped down. The deck will be dropped down about 1 inch below that white edge there, and that'll be trimmed in wood. And then it's going to have like a fence railing around it for privacy. It goes up 4 feet high, all the way around, up against the cabin, all the way around. It's going to be made out of 1x4 treated wood. It's going to have a gate on it on one side to walk down. And I'm also going to extend the platform back 12 inches and fill in this hole here. The way I'm going to do it, pretty simple. I'll explain that when we get to it. And the only thing that's going to be on the top of the boat is going to be the dinghy and the air conditioner. And the generator will probably sit back here on the back because it's just a small one. And all it's going to do is charge the battery at night when the motor's not running. So, if I'm running the air conditioner. Heat's probably going to be a small tent wood heater. And then of course I have an ice cold cooler that'll sit over here underneath my sink. And I have a panel here to take off if I need to get to my motor. And the floor will have panels on it, 3 of them. And this one will be for storage over here. And this panel will come off to check the oil and change the oil. And this panel will come off over here for storage also. I'm putting on a remote oil filter also, so the oil filter will be up on top of the engine, and changing will be as simple as sticking my little pump in there and sucking it out and pouring more oil back in. So that'll take care of it. That's my plans, and that's what we're going to do with the SeaRay. There is my Chrysler 4 horsepower dinghy motor. Yeah, believe it or not, it runs. Somebody gave it to me, and it didn't have any fire, and I took it off and cleaned the points, and she fired right up. And the propeller was broken, so I'm modifying the propeller to work. I got to bore out that hole right there, a little bigger. That's one I bought off of eBay, so my sleeve will fit in it. And this over here is my transportation for my mini yacht. My vintage Swin Speedster with a Chinese 2-stroker on it. That little thing will move on about 25, maybe 30. It's fun. That's about that. I'm slowly buying stuff for the Shanty boat build. The boat already has a 1,000-watt inverter in it that'll probably power my 10 air conditioner. But if it won't power it, that'll help. And then I got a little, that battery charger works great. It's a 12 or 24 volt. And I can always run my battery off 24 volt, but I'll have to buy 2 more batteries to do that, and I really not want to do that. It's a lot of weight. But that's my proposed power sources. Plus I'll have a solar panel on there also.